Hey guys, welcome back to the KJ Methods YouTube channel, where we're trying to get 1,000 agents licensed by the end of 2025. I think we can do it if you guys watch the videos all the way through and make sure you understand the information. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the KJ Method YouTube channel. What we're doing today is the practice of real estate test part 2. We've already uploaded part 1. I'll make sure to put that in the links for you. Part 2 of the real estate practice, highly tested, however, doesn't have a whole lot of material, so you can pick up a number of questions on this section. So let's get started. In what situation would a fair housing violation result? A retirement home where at least 80% of the people are over 55 decide that they do not want to rent to children under 18. B, a synagogue refuses to rent to a person of Muslim faith, but does allow the Muslim to worship in the synagogue, essentially. C, a homeowner who just moved out of her single-family home refuses to rent to an African-American family. And D, an owner-occupant of a duplex refuses to rent to a handicapped person. So in which situation would a fair housing violation result? So you got to know what your protected classes are, and the answer here would be C. Even though we have protected classes and even though we have exceptions to those protected classes where sometimes you could discriminate, even in a protected class, race is not a protected class in the sense that you are never able to discriminate. So it's a protected class, but it doesn't have any exemptions. So you never are able to discriminate based on race. 12. The purchaser of a home is requesting that the seller provide the purchaser with a home warranty at closing. If the seller agrees, the purchaser will be protected if there are A, title claims against the property, B, mechanical problems with the HVAC, which is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, in case you didn't know, C, tree damage from a storm, and D, a neighbor falling on the lawn. So which one is this? Understand that a home warranty will protect things inside the home in case they break, essentially. And so that makes it real clear that it would be B, mechanical problems with the HVAC. 13. In which situation will the county least likely grant a variance? So essentially we're saying which one is kind of like the smallest thing, right? Because a variance, if you remember, is you are giving it to one person where they're trying to just do something a little different than the zoning allows. So A family wants to temporarily place a mobile home on their property after their home burned down. B, a family wishes to build an in-ground pool in violation of the setback lines. C, a builder who wants to put a store on the edge of a subdivision that is zoned residential. And D, a builder requests to build a fence on a property 6 inches higher than the law allows due to the contour of the land. So least likely to grant a variance. So we're not looking for the little thing, right? Because a variance is like something small that is going to go against the current zoning. We're looking for something that essentially is going to change the zoning, because that would be the thing that would be least likely. And if you can look at it that way, your answer then would be C, because a builder wants to change this zoning from residential to commercial. We are not going to do that with a variance. All the other ones, definitely you can get a variance for. 14, pretty long. Giovanni works for ABC Realty Partners, a real estate brokerage, in a right-to-work state on a 1-year contract, but it doesn't mention whether Giovanni is an employee or an independent contractor. Giovanni's agreement with the brokerage indicates that on Fridays, Giovanni will be paid $500 in exchange for being in the office from 9 to 2, Monday to Friday. His duties essentially include answering the phones, filing, dealing with people as they walk in. Giovanni is fully trained by ABC to perform these tasks. Giovanni will receive a 1099 at the end of the year, pay his own health insurance, and be responsible to pay his own workers' compensation and disability insurance. After 4 months on the job, ABC fires Giovanni, and Giovanni sues, stating that he was an employee, not an independent contractor. ABC claims the opposite, saying he was a contractor. Who is correct? This goes to control, guys. Anytime you are thinking about independent contractor versus employee, I don't care if they're issuing a 1099, W-2, or whatever, we are looking at control of the employee. So A, Giovanni is going to win since he was an employee of ABC due to the amount of control. B, ABC is going to win since Giovanni was an independent contractor because he was paying his own expenses, right? His own health insurance and so forth. C, Giovanni, because he would have had to agree to be an employee of ABC. And D, ABC, since Giovanni agreed to be an independent contractor. Okay, and we don't have anything here saying that he agreed to be one thing or the other. It says it doesn't mention whether he is one thing or the other. The biggest thing that you're looking at here is that he's being paid a salary. He has to be in the office from 9 to 2, and these are his duties. And so essentially, they are controlling his movement. It doesn't matter that about the health insurance and all of that. Yeah, that's generally some evidence of one thing versus the other. But there are a lot of jobs that will try to say, hey, well, you paid your own health insurance, so you are a contractor. No. Or I gave you a 1099, so you are a contractor. No. Control here. Control. 9 to 2, Monday to Friday, answer the phones, do this, do that, do the other thing. And so with that said, Giovanni was going to be an employee of ABC. Be careful on those, because just because one person is saying it's this or saying it's that, I need you to look at the question and look at what is going on in the question in order to be able to answer it. Number 15, Modeste is a sales agent with RPM Venture Partners Real Estate, a licensed brokerage. Modeste is an independent contractor. As such, RPM cannot require, so it says he is an independent contractor, can't require that Modeste be in the office from 9 to 12, Monday to Friday. B, they can't require that Modeste read all the rules and regulations provided to him. C, that Modeste not engage in the practice of steering. And D, that Modeste provide an ACH for payment, ACH account for payment. Well, what do you think? Again, control, control, control. So what can they not say if he was an independent contractor? They cannot make him be in that office from 9 to 12, Monday to Friday. Again, you guys, when you become agents, they're going to give you a list of the training and saying, hey, you got to come to training sometime. You don't have to give them a schedule and say, these are the days that I'm definitively going to be there. All right, number 16, Mary is attempting to sell her single-family house without a broker. She has had it on the market for 61 days. She is the most recent occupant. In her ad, she states that she doesn't want any people with children under the age of 18 because the neighbors on both sides are over the age of 65. Is this permissible? Like, can she do this? Can Mary do this? Well, A, yes, it's fine because she's not using a broker to sell her house. Yes, because both neighbors are over 62, so they get an exemption. C, no, because discrimination is never allowed, even by a owner. And D, no, because she used discriminatory advertising. Again, guys, we have to understand which is which. Again, under fair housing, we have these protected classes. There are some of them that you are able to discriminate against if you get an exemption. So we do have what we call a single family homeowner exemption. Except there are a couple of things that have to be present. It has to be a for sale by owner. You have to be an occupant or the most recent occupant. And you cannot use discriminatory advertising in your ad. So is this permissible? No, not in this case. Why? Because she used discriminatory advertising. All right, so I told you she has to be the most recent occupant. She can't use discriminatory advertising, and she cannot use a broker. So here, she didn't use a broker, right? She didn't use a broker, and she is the most recent occupant, and it's a single family home. She's good, right? But the one thing, you cannot use discriminatory advertising because she did, it's going to be D. No, not permissible in this case. But in another case, it could have been. The only reason why I'm taking the time here is because I get so many students that say, you can't discriminate, you can't discriminate. And that means that you miss the idea of this. What we're saying is there are classes that are protected. However, even against those classes, sometimes you get an exemption and you're able to discriminate if you meet these conditions, okay? But never for race, as we've already learned. 17, which of the following is generally income tax deductible when owning a home? This is just one of those you need to know. A down payment on the property. Can you get a tax deduction for your down payment? B, major home improvements. Can you get it for that? C, points paid to obtain the loan. Can you get it for that? And D, maintenance on a property. Can you get it for that? Well, on this one, you may or may not know the answer, but it's going to be C. Why is it C? So when you own your own property, most of the things when you fix the house and so forth are not going to be tax deductible. Even when you save money for your down payment, that's not going to be tax deductible. But points is really looked at as prepaid interest. Prepaid interest. And because under the taxes you get an interest deduction on your home, that is the reason why the answer is C, points paid to obtain the loan. Number 18, you need to contact a prior client who is on the DNC, do not call registry. Can you contact this prior client? Well, there's some rules relating to it, right? A, yes is as long as it's prior to 9 p.m. and for up to 18 months since your last transaction with them. B, yes as long as it's prior to 9 p.m. and for up to 3 months since your last transaction with them. C, no, because they are already on the do not call registry. You cannot call them. And D, yes, if you have first received permission to call them, then you cannot call past 8 p.m., but you can call. All right, so what say you here? Person on the do not call registry, but a prior client. You can call them, even though they're on the registry. You can call them. However, you must call them before 9 p.m., because that's the rule. All these calls must happen before 9. And you could call them for up to 18 months since your last transaction with them. Now, if at any time before that 18 months they say, don't call me anymore, do not call me anymore, then you have to stop calling. But it doesn't matter that they're on the registry already. If you are a prior client, they're a prior client, you could call them up to 18 months. That's an exemption. Number 19, a broker advertises a property to have the most beautiful backyard that he has ever seen. The buyer purchases the property based on the broker's assertions. When the backyard of the month contest comes around, the buyer does not win. He sues the broker for false advertising. What is the result? A, the purchaser should have checked out the other backyards before purchasing. B, the most beautiful backyard is considered puffing. C, the most beautiful backyard could reasonably be interpreted as being the most beautiful. And D, the broker engaged in false advertising. So what do you think about this one? Well, you should be thinking in your head, puffing. So the answer here is B. When someone makes a statement, if it is more like opinion than fact, the most beautiful backyard, that's the best tree, that's the nicest sunset I've ever seen, that is opinion. An opinion is puffing, and that is going to be fine, versus something that is fact. So anytime if you hear something that the person says and it's kind of like their opinion, no reasonable person should be going by their opinion. They may think it's the best backyard. You may not think it's the best backyard. Okay, it's not a fact. It's just an opinion. Puffing is fine. Number 20. A broker advertises a property as having the largest lot in the neighborhood. That's different. The purchaser purchases the land based upon the broker's assertions. Can the broker be accused of false advertising? So what do you think about this one? A, no, the purchaser should have found out the exact measurements of the lot. B, no, because the largest lot is considered puffing. C, yes, because largest lot couldn't reasonably be interpreted as being the largest. Or D, yes, because largest lot could reasonably be interpreted as being the largest. Yes, it could. So it is going to be D. If you say largest lot, that is something verifiable. Let's go around to the 10 houses and see if it's the largest lot. It's something verifiable. So if it's verifiable, right, it's fact, it's not opinion, that's not going to be considered puffing. And if a reasonable person could believe what you're saying, as indeed largest lot can reasonably be interpreted, then it is not going to be puffing, and it is going to be false advertising. All right, that's it for part 2. Tell me how you guys are doing. Put down in the comments, are you 1 for 10, 2 for 10, 9 for 10, hopefully. But let me know how you're doing, and let me know that these videos are really helping you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and let all your friends know about KJ Method. I will see you the next time.